Hello, hello. Welcome to this stream. I'm managing to try and do one of these most Sundays now, round about this time. Tonight, I'm hoping that I'm going to be doing a bit of NPC work, so non-player characters. I've not brought non-player characters into a Unity scene with the Venture Creator for a while, so it'll be interesting. There'll probably be some problems to sort out, but there's a few different bits and pieces I want to do. Hello, Remote Live in the chat there. There's a few bits and pieces I want to try and do to do with like speaking to these non-player characters. But the first thing was I needed some graphics for them. So this afternoon I've actually been creating a couple of bits and pieces of animation of these particular characters. So I'm going to crack on with that and hopefully work out how to drop them into the scene. There's going to be bits later on in the stream where, bits later on in the game where these characters are going to be in this same scene. There's going to be a customer. There's a couple of different customers that are part of the story. There's a delivery guy that appears at the door. So I'm going to set them up in this scene, and then I'm going to work out how to hide them and make sure that I'm assuming it's exactly the same as anything else, and I can just hide them like you'd hide an object. So I'm hoping that's going to be relatively easy to set up. We will see. So I'm over in Aseprite at the moment. This afternoon I was doing some little bits of animation. One of Tyler, which I've not shown much on the stream, and I've just been trying to get some characters in with just a couple of like speaking animations, so just talk ones. They're not complete yet. I need to put a bit more movement into the body, but it's just so that I can actually see them animating. And then Tyler spends most of his time staring at his phone, so there's this little bit where he just looks down at his phone and his hands are going to fidget and things as he's just staring, looking at his phone. So Tyler is basically the part-time student worker at the carpet shop, and he's involved in the first act in a couple of different ways. So I've just been putting that little bit of animation together this afternoon. A female customer as well, again just a talking one at the moment, and she kind of is going to be stood at one of the carpet stands. Again, I haven't had her arms moving and stuff, and she looks bit top heavy at the moment, like a rugby player, but I might sort that out at some point. But I just wanted to get these in so that I've got an NPC for this customer, that an NPC for Tyler, although he's one of the like kind of main characters in it. We've obviously got Clive. I've been working from these to get the scale and the palettes right and everything for them. And then there's also the driver that I was doing this afternoon as well. So this is like a delivery driver for the floor company who's got his little clipboard with him, and it's just again some talking stuff. So I'm going to export these, get them out as their individual frames, and set up some NPCs. That is the plan tonight. We'll see how that goes. So I'll start with the driver. He's really tall, so it's going to be interesting to see how this all works out, and whether I can actually remember how I did this. I think, did I do them with sprite sheets? I think so. Let's export a sprite sheet. How did I do the last ones? Again, the usual problem. I'm not in here every day and I forget what I've done. So let's have a look at my sprites, characters, Clive. So there were sprite sheets that I was using for the bits of animation, yeah. Okay. Let's have a look and get these imported then. So we're going to export sprite sheet. That looks right. Let's check these. Yeah, by rows. Yeah, no borders. Okay. So these are going to go out to my sprites, characters. See, I've already broken my filing system, so this is going to be driver, and he's just got a torque down at the moment. That might be all he has actually, but we'll see. So that's that one exported. Let's have Tyler talking from the front, and I've not. I've only just started looking at these tags, so you can create a new tag, and just call that torque down, and then you can extend that. So I'm not totally sure. So this torque animation now is just 1 to 7. So I think when you press play, I've forgotten what plays. Yeah, so they're all the frames of his torque, and that's him like lifting his phone up, and then he's going to be looking at his phone. In fact, let's just finish this bit off, because what I would like to do is have this as just going to put a couple of frames in here where his phone moves a little bit, just so. Nope, get the right layer on his arms layer. So I'm just gonna. This will probably change, but I'm just want to get a bit of animation, a little blink there. A whole lot. These will end up getting a bit more motion in them, like moving his arms and things, but for now I just want to have something so I can tell he's moving and tell that he's like got an idle state. So we've got this run up to idle there, and then I've just got this little idle bit there. Although it looks weird now because his arms just suddenly get fat. Let's get rid of that. Delete that. You can almost certainly expect dogs to be barking because we've got fireworks going off everywhere now. We're in the UK here, so it's approaching our what we call bonfire night in November. They always start early. Everyone's able to buy fireworks, so lots of people are setting off fireworks, and our dogs do not like them. So we can expect a few barks, I would imagine. Let's have that frame out of there, in there as well. So we're just going to have, that's the phone, lift. Not sure how these tag things work when you export things, but we'll find out. Phone idle, because it'll be really handy to actually just have all the animations for a character in one Aseprite file. I am aware that there is an Aseprite importer, and I've just spotted your comment there in the thing. The Aseprite importer. I tried to get it working for Unity, and there was some kind of issue, but it looked really, really good from what I saw, because effectively you can then just import this Aseprite file into Unity, and it does a direct link, so anything that you change here, then it updates the frames. But when I tried it, I got some errors, and I'm not sure if it's version of Unity versus version of Aseprite or whatever, so I'll look at that again at some point. But in answer to your question there on the chat, starting from nothing, it might sound like it would be interesting, but it'll be a bloody long process, I can tell you. Though these characters, actually, I'm leaning back somewhere around here. Let me have a look under my other laptop. think I might have included these on the stream one. So there you go. I don't know if you can be able to see this, but that it's somewhere on a YouTube short of mine. That sketch is there, and that is literally how Tyler started, and how Clive started. So it was just literally on a scrap of paper. There you go. There's another crap drawing. So I just knew that I wanted like a teenager, slightly older than teen, I guess, but with the fringe covering his face. I went to college with a lad who's like, you would have been forgiven for thinking he had one eye for like 3 years because he never saw the other one. So I just thought that'd be quite funny, like inspired by that. So yeah, that was the drawing really, and I don't think I photographed it for the YouTube short, but I don't think I actually brought it into Aseprite. I might have done actually and just put it alongside it and just kind of drew around it. But the original Tyler that I did, it was a bit messy. It was before I'd kind of tidied up Clive as well. So I just sorted him out a little bit and just took some of the colours out. I had far too many different shades, I was just trying to make him a little bit simpler. But yeah, well, at some point I'll maybe try that on a live stream. I kind of did it today with the driver, but I think my advice would be, once you've got a character, so now I've got Clive and I've got a front-facing Clive. Clive talk down. So this Clive, I took Clive, just saved this as driver, and then just started drawing over him because I've got him split up into face, like arms, shirt, and legs, and there was like other things there which I don't use anymore. That was because I was animating him from the side, so he had a back leg and a front leg. But I tend not to draw it from scratch, so I'll stick with this and kind of paint over it. This female customer, I'll be putting it out actually as a pixel art time-lapse video. So I recorded myself doing that. When I do those, I do them at 3 frames a second. I just record my screen. So there will be this woman 1, woman 2. This is me drawing over. I'll just mute that in case it's got the audio on. So this is me starting with the driver, and if I just fast forward that, kind of drawing over the woman. Originally it was going to be a black-haired woman, like full of makeup. Decided to put a bobble hat and then make her eyes smaller. So I'll put this will be going up online. So I kind of drew over, just making it up as I went along, really, trying to decide what kind of clothes to put her in, and some earrings on her, drawing over the legs of, and then decide to put it as like a cardigan. So the process a lot of the time is kind of not from scratch, but I kind of use the last character as a kind of bit of a basis. But you can see her face has changed quite a bit now, fiddling with that. But yeah, I will edit those videos and I'll stick a time lapse up on YouTube earlier on, early in the week, hopefully. So where was I at? I exported the driver. Let's export. Let's see how these work, because this will be interesting for me as well. Shall we enjoy the driver's related to the he literally comes from the woman. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. I'll have a think about how I can weave that in. What I'm interested in is whether you can export when you do a sprite sheet now, and it's got those tags in, export sprite sheet. So it does the whole lot by the looks of it. Layout. Just seeing if there is layers, frames. All right, so you can just do an individual tag. Cool. So you do tag talk. Excellent. That's cool. Generates one sprite for each tag. All right. So if you do all frames, split tag generates one sprite for each tag. Not sure what that does. One sprite for each tag. Let's give that, let's just see what happens if I have all frames and leave that split tags on. Just make sure I'm not overwriting the other one. So we need to go to my sprites, characters, new folder for Tyler. Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen here because it's called Tyler Front. Let's just do it, see what happens. What do we actually end up with? Export. Let's go and find out, shall we? My sprites, characters, Tyler. So you do end up with one sprite sheet. So that is the torque. Yeah, that is the lift. But that isn't the idle. So I'm not sure what it's doing there. Oh, it is the idle because I've forgot to extend that to 15. That's what's gone on. So the idle one wasn't extended. So the phone lift, the phone idle, and then the phone lift I'm going to play in reverse for him to put his phone back down. So there's no need to animate that forward and backwards. So let's just try that again then, because this is super handy. Oh no, not export, file, export, sprite sheet. Yeah, so now there's 4 frames there, that is correct. So yeah, in effect then you can export one whole sprite sheet for the entire character and have everything tagged. That's really, really handy, that. So I've had lots of different Aseprite files for like front, left, like up, down, torque, all those kind of things. So they could actually all be in one Aseprite file per character. And then I can output the actual tags, which is very handy. So let's just make sure yeah. So I'm trying to think ahead about what problem that might cause me in Unity, because I still need slicing in Unity. And actually, when I slice them in Unity, it will slice by rows, and you'll end up with 1, 2, 3 empty frames there and there because they haven't got the same number of frames. So I don't know if I do want to do that. Let's stick to the old method for now, but I'll work out whether that might be handy. So we'll do the torque as one output. So that will be Tyler torque D for down. Export that. And then file, export sprite sheet. Lift. So export. Apologies if I do miss a message, because for some reason my audio isn't playing when a message comes through. It should be, but for some reason it isn't. Right, so phone lift output. What is annoying is that it doesn't take the name of the tag into the file, so this will become a bit of a pain. So Tyler phone lift. Export that. And then the phone idle is that one. So file, export sprite sheet. Sprite. You can just do selected frames, I suppose, and select them there, but let's do it that way. Choose. So Tyler phone idle. Export. Right, so we've done that. Save that. We've done the driver. We've already got Clive. We can close him. No, I just removed them frames in. And this lady customer. So file, export. Export. Oh, hello Band Bites Games as well. Welcome to the channel. My audio isn't giving me notifications of chats, so apologies if I do miss a message. I am looking over there to the side of my monitor where they're popping up. But, so let's get this customer out as well. Export the sprite sheet for that. And this is just a talk one, so we need to create a new folder. New folder. Customers. There's actually going to be a couple of different customers that are involved in the story, so let's call this customer lady talk underscore D. Lazzy lady. All right, export that. So we've got all of those bits of animation out. Let's get back over to Unity. So hopefully in my sprites, what I need to do is put Clive in his own folder as well. I'm going to do that here within Unity, so hopefully any references to these don't get screwed up. We've dropped Clive in there. It's a bit tidier. So customers, lady. Now, from memory, what we were doing before, I have some presets. So sliced art importer, which puts the filter mode to point, so it doesn't blur the pixels basically. Compression to none because these are tiny, so they doesn't need to be compressed. And it's a sliced sprite, so apply that. Open the sprite editor, and hopefully, yes, it's remembered my settings, so it's automatically slicing these and placing the pivots at the 0.5x and 0 on the y, so it's always right at the bottom. And they're all sliced nicely, so that's cool. Thanks very much. I keep saying I can't pronounce your username, Band Bites Games. Well, thanks for the follow and things. I'm glad you've been watching a few of the streams afterwards. Yeah, this is a live one, so if you've got any questions, by all means, stick them in there. As you know, if you've watched some of them, most of the streams are me trying to remember how to do stuff in Adventure Creator, because I don't spend enough time doing it. I'd love to spend my whole life doing this, but unfortunately it's every few days I get a chance to jump on this. So just for your benefit, Band Bites Games, the hope today is I'm just getting a couple of NPCs in this evening, get them set up, get them talkable and things like that. And remind myself how the Adventure Creator, there's a somewhere up here, there is a character wizard. Oh, there used to be. Hang on a second. We'll work that out in a minute. There used to be a character wizard. We'll work out how to do that. So we are going to want... Let's try with this lady first. I'm just going to drop her into the scene. Reset her transform so she's at the correct size. Just move her roughly like where we want her. She's kind of going to be... There's a bit later where Tyler's talking to her, so she's going to be kind of stood in front of one of these displays, and Tyler's going to be selling her carpets basically. So not quite sure yet where she's going to be. I haven't animated her arms and things, but I will at some point. She may be picking up carpet samples or something, but for now I just want to get them in so that I can see them talking and remind myself of the process of setting up NPCs. I can see straight away that like the sorting layer stuff is going to be fun to work out. So we've got her anyway. Let's. I'm sure there is a new character. So if I right click there and go Adventure Creator. Nope. Definitely used to be Editor. Character Wizard, that's the fella. Thank you. Yeah, we got there. Character Wizard, NPC, base game object is based on, it's got to be a game object in the hierarchy. I remember that much. Character's name. Let's just come up with a name, because then I can remember she's called that. Go on then. Two of you in the chat. What shall we call the actual character? See who gets there first. Open to suggestions. Any female names? Wendy? Right. Done. Wendy it is. Got there first. So this is Wendy. Oh, Wedney even. God. So, Wendy. So, we're going to be using the sprites, Unity. Not going to need collision because she's not going to move. She's going to be part of the scene, talking to Tyler at some point. When you leave, come back, she'll be gone. And I think I've been just using sprites Unity for all of these. So, create. Why has she got an absolutely massive hit area? That's bizarre. Wonder what that is. She doesn't need to follow the sorting map because she's not going to walk. For now, I'm just going to make a text colour green because she's got a green top on, and that'll help me. Right. She's not going to be walking. She's going to be talking. So we're going to need a animator for her. I think if I've done this the right way. I'm just not entirely sure why we've got this absolutely massive hit area for it. Is it just that box collider's huge? Why has it done that? That's a bit strange. Let's just dial that in. I'm not quite sure what's happened there. It's a little bit worrying as to why this huge box collider. So have we got NPC? Well, it automatically creates you that now. I'm sure it didn't used to do that. So I don't like that name. Like, let's just call that Wendy. So she should have an idle down. So we need to create some animations to plug into these. So the way that I did that, again, I did this a couple of weeks ago on a live stream. You might have both seen it. And I think one of you was definitely here. Remote line was here at the time, but the dropping in the animator controller usually ends up in the root folder. Ah, yeah, it does. Yeah, I don't know why it sticks it there, but I don't really mind that. I'm trying to remember. I'll shift that elsewhere in a minute. In the sprites thing. So I've got these 2 I'm going to use as the idle. I think if you select them both and just go create. Hello personal Hadi. Howdy. There. Welcome to the channel. From memory, I'm going to select the 2 sprites that are chopped. Yeah, you can ask a question. Animation clip. There we go. So with the 2 selected, if you do create animation clip, we should end up with Wendy idle down. And again, it creates in the root, but we can shift that layer. Can you add my icon to your game? Which icon's that then? What is it? Is it some kind of sandwich? As in, well, possibly. I'm trying to look to see what your actual icon is. You tell me what your icon is, and I will see if we can get it. It looks like a sandwich of some sort. It could go in the kitchen, possibly. Yeah. If you explain what it is, personal Hadi, you explain what it is. Send me a picture of it, and yeah, we'll see if we can get it into the kitchen. So what was I doing? Wendy idle. So this is Wendy's idle animation. Is going to be plugged in there. I just need to check they actually did that. Did actually get the 2 frames? Yeah, it did. So frame 1 and 2 are both there. Do is just set the frame rate to that to be 6, and then zoom out a bit, and we're just gonna create some pauses. Pauses on that for a bit. Goes back to that one. On that. So all I'm doing there is duplicating some of the frames, so that when it plays through, there's actually only 2 frames there, but it's just staggering how long it shows. 1 for 3 frames, 1 for 2 frames, back to that, and so just to give her a bit of idle thing. So let's have a look then. Sponge patty is an inedible variation of the Krabby Patty. There's 2 light pink kitchen sponges instead of bread buns. Other ingredients kind of aluminium. Excellent, right? Mop strings as the lettuce. Right, I will do my best. I'm going to copy your chat now. There you go. This is my promise to you. People who join the stream get to get involved. That's the idea. So let's go Remnant World. So this is my Fig Jam board. If you'd seen one of the earlier streams, this is where I do all the planning for the game. So Fig Jam, if you don't know, Figma, it's called. It's free. Or certainly you can make quite a few boards for free. What I'm going to do up here at the top, I'm going to start a new area here called... oh, that's logged me out. Hang on a second. Let me just log back in again. Give us a second. It's being a pain wanting to log me in. Does it log me in now? Yeah, it does. All right, let's have a look. You can look it up on Google. The sponge patty is an inedible variation of the Krabby Patty. I do like this. So this is Encyclopedia of Spongebobia. Right, I'm taking all of this out of the chat. This sounds like my kind of silliness. So let's just start a new big block up there, which is... I'll just call it live stream submissions. This is my promise to you as the audience. If you do come on and you're on regularly and we get some silly stuff going on, I will try my best to get them stuck in the game. And then when you come to play the game, hopefully you can see the things that you've added. So this is personal Heady. I'm just going to trim off your chat. There we go. I will look into that. Remnant World. It's not a Stuart Lee reference. So in my hometown where I came from, there was a carpet shop called Remnant World, which was basically in the like late 80s. The remnants, like room-sized remnants, was the advert. So it was like cheap carpet, like what was left over from a full roll. So it was all like half rolls, like remnants of rolls. And I think Stuart Lee, he's a bit older than me, but yeah, he had that. It was a tour, wasn't it? A remnant carpet salesman, something or other. So it's not particularly a Stuart Lee reference. Stuart Lee is referencing the heyday of carpet shops. So, but I am a big fan of Stuart Lee. So we'll stick that in there. Thank you for the suggestion of the sponge patty. I like the idea of that. We'll see what we can do. We've got a kitchen in this game. If you've been watching any of the other streams, then we'll try and get one of them in the kitchen with your explanation in the game. Right, I'm going to crack on because I'll forget where I am. I've already forgotten where I am. I was doing Wendy, wasn't it? As named by, it is Kyle, isn't it? Remote line. So the we've got her in there. I'm still concerned about why she had this massive hit area, but we'll see how that goes. We've got an animation of her idle. We need an animation of her talk. I thought I'd remember the name because I called you Tyler in the end because I've had Tyler and Kyle mixed up in my mind now. Right, there's the talk bit. So we're going to take those 4, 5 frames, which are going to be the talk. We're going to create an animation clip with that. I just realised my mic's clipping a bit there. Just turn that down a bit. So that's going to be, let's rename that to Wendy _ talk _ down. So the animator controller, as someone quite rightly told me, it's dumped it in there. I'm going to move it now, as you suggested. It's going to go in the customer thing. So NPC Wendy, edit that. So the talk down, attach that to it. So talk, we want it to loop as well. Actually, want the idle to loop as well. Come to think of it. I did see a tutorial recently actually about making talking bits look a bit better, but I'll have to have a look at that later. Can't remember who it was. Someone else on YouTube using Adventure Creator with a tip for having them stop their mouths moving in between lines of dialogue. I'll look that up and I'll find out who that creator was because it was quite a good tutorial actually. I learned a bit on that. Right. So we've got Wendy now. We've got her in the room. Her idle is her entry point. So hopefully when I click play, she will just be idling there. Yeah. So she's just playing the idle at the moment, that's absolutely fine. She highlights as Wendy. It isn't a massive hitbox. There's nothing gone wrong with that. She's obviously behind one of the counters. We need to sort out a layer order, but that all seems to be fine. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's coming together all right now. There's a few things from the other streams, like these lights. They're part of a puzzle, so they're not. Well, these two are off at the moment. These broken lights. Still got quite a bit to do on sorting out. I'm not happy with the font that I've got and stuff like that. Needs sorting out, but yeah. So these might. Yeah. So that fits the lights, and then these other lights come on. I need to do the graphics for those lights as well. But yeah, that's a puzzle from later on. But yeah, this kitchen here, personal Haddy. We'll see if we can get your sponge patty cultural reference in there at some point. So let's come back to the shop floor, and I keep every time I see it, I need to draw that staff only door there, so it's not just a black hole, because it's just an old graphic that I haven't finished off. So Wendy's working. She's as we expected. So let's just test her out by doing some dialogue. So why is... it's because they have hit areas, don't they? So she's got a funny center point now. I guess. Oh, try to work out. There's a fan noise coming on from there. I've just realised I was doing some stuff on my other laptop earlier on today. Excuse me a second while I turn that off. Yeah, the Fig Jam stuff I sometimes just do in the other room. I can sit in the living room and do it, so I've forgotten to turn off my laptop. And it's unhappy. Let's just turn that off. Update and restart. There we go. So because I'm not using the sorting map for her, she's not paying attention to this scaling, which is probably a good idea. If I did follow sorting map, that's weird. I would have expected her to get smaller as I moved her up the screen, but that isn't what's happening. Let me just try this out. Let me stick her right at the top of there. Click play. Does it sort once it renders her into the scene? Is she tiny? Yes. Oh, well, that's unhelpful, because I can't see how big she is in that case, unless it's running. Let's just do that again. So because I can't see her scale, okay, because I'm running it full screen as well. Let me go game, play focused. All I'm trying to do is work out whether it's best to have her follow the sorting map, so that then she goes behind the things she's meant to go behind. But you can see she's tiny at the moment because she's following that sorting map. Let me try and move her now. So Wendy W. So she does get bigger as she comes closer to the front. But she's kind of the wrong scale by the looks of it. Is she scale? Yeah, so she's scaling on the sorting map. Do you know, because she's not going to walk, I'm just not going to have her follow the sorting map, because it causes, I think, more problems than it solves. All we need to solve is the layer order. She's obviously too big for the door. And there's other issues as well. I've said this on a previous stream. I think I might have to redraw that door, because everything feels a bit out of whack. I've gone for a slightly weird perspective when I drew this one, but it makes it kind of difficult because this door's smaller than that door, which and we can't scale left to right. Excuse me. Oh, sorry, I missed a couple of chats there. Main character is named Larry Chrome. He's called Clive Bottomley, actually. And he is the boss. So he's the manager of this regional Stockton branch of Floors For You. and he's got a member of staff who works for him called Tyler, which is another floor gag to do with tiles, which comes in later on. But Tyler has very little work ethic. He's a part-time worker who's kind of barely ever does anything apart from staring at his phone. So he will be one of the main characters in it as well. So I'm going to just manually scale her up. What I'm trying to do is turn off the bounding box for it. So let's just go so I can see her. So draw a yellow cube, get rid of that. I'm just going to manually scale it. She looks pretty big, Wendy. Quite a unit. I'm trying to think where she's going to be. I've got some other layer order issues as well. That So Soft logo, that should be on the front of that. So I need to sort some of them things out. What I might do is just sort her in front of that. Just manually pull her in front of that and just have her there for now. Tyler's going to be talking to her about carpet samples at some point. But that'll do. She's in the right place. What I want to check is the talking. And I want to check that talking animations work. So we've got talk down. She's going to be facing down. We just need to give her an action. So you see the names? Yes, I know. I saw your suggestions there. Personal ID of the names: Larry Chrome and Mr. Sprax. The names are already set in stone, I'm afraid. But next time we've got an NPC being added, we've been naming NPCs on the channel as we go. So Kyle got in, Remote Lime got in to name this one Wendy as I dropped her into the scene. We've already got Tyler, but we have got a delivery driver who I'm going to try and do. So if you all want to have a think of some names for a delivery driver, I'll show you his face. The other people on the channel, there you go. That's your delivery driver, little cap and clipboard. If you want to start throwing some names up in the channel, we'll have a think about getting one of them names for him. So, what have I done? Have I moved her off her centre? I don't think she's gonna. I don't need that footsteps audio, do I? Truck Norris, like it anymore? Yeah, she's not gonna be using an audio source on them, so I'm just gonna remove that. I'm trying to see if that is that a Carrie, as in Carrie Poppins. Yeah. Any other delivery gags? I'm just trying to work out what that yellow icon is on there. Is it the box collider? Because I've got a feeling like a center is now in a weird place. It's the center of that transform, I think. Let's try. Wendell. Oh, you earlier on the lady Wendy, Kyle was suggesting was related to the driver, and that was because the driver, I drew the lady over the driver, so the lady came from this guy originally. keep on throwing up name suggestions, and I'll pick one by the time I bring the guy in. Once I've got her talking, then we'll give him a name. Just in time. I like that. Yeah. Just in time, the delivery driver. So talk. I've got that set up. All I want to do is add a talk action. But I've just thought, I don't actually think I've set up the talk actions. So in actions, it's been that long since I've done an NPC. Delivery, very good. Mishandling, nice. Package handler Hank. Maybe you should have the initials DPD or something from one of the delivery companies. I do like just in time. Truck Norris is good as well. I like both of them. I've had a complete mind blank as to why I can't add a talk action. I've got use examine inventory, but I don't have talk. I haven't created Frisky Freddy. Keep them coming. I've completely forgotten how you create a talk. Post Malone, one for the kids. Anyone on the channel? Someone shouted up earlier as to where I found the character wizard. I've completely forgotten why I don't have a action for talk. It's not so much an action, it's these interactions. So usually there's like a settings manager, isn't it? Where you've got the things you can do. Not sure why I don't have talk. Let me have a little look at these. Point and click. Movement, camera, hotspots. Is it on cursor? Walk, interaction. Yeah, we've got talk too. So I'm not using cursors in this, but yeah, it's one of the things I'd not set up before. I mentioned it on another stream that because I've just dived straight into making this time round without doing a load of like tutorials, reminding myself everything's just use at the moment. So I'm clicking on everything as use. So I haven't got verbs. I haven't got use, examine, talk to, pick up, and things like that. I've just been doing use to get like motoring to get going quickly. And now I've got to the talk bit. I don't seem to have an interaction option for talking to Wendy. I also noticed she'd got really small again. She was following the sorting map. Oh, there is an edit mode preview there for the sorting map. Oh, well, right, let's leave it as it was. You can change the label in the action list editor. No, what I'm looking for, and maybe I've misunderstood there, when, like any hotspot in the scene, You've got examine interaction, inventory interactions, and use interactions, but I'm sure there used to be a talk one there for, again, these Adventure Creator has been updated since I last used it, so some things are in slightly different places. But Wendy here in the hotspot, I would expect there to be a talk interaction, but oh, it's there. Oh, idiot. So yeah, you use talk to. So what we want to do then, we want to stick a walk to marker in for now, which is walk to Wendy. Just position that here for now. It's not something that Clive, the main character, is going to be doing, but at least we can test all this out. So back to Wendy. Talk to, player action, walk to marker, face after moving, create that interaction. So we want to do dialogue, play speech, play a line, hi, can I help you? So this isn't going to be part of the game. I'm actually just testing this out. And then let's just see if it is straightforward as doing dialogue, play speech, Wendy. Hi, I'm looking for a deep pile shag carpet. Deep pile shag ... carpet. Let's just see if that works and splits the lines and actually makes her speak as well. So it should play. Yes, for the immature in the audience like me, there's lots of innuendo to do with the fact that shag pile carpets were a thing of the 80s and still are. Wool blends, twists, all of these names are going to be coming out in various bits of comedy dialogue. So let's see if that works. So right, so she's not talking, and there's obviously a layer order issue here as well. I wonder if the sorting, let's pop a sorting map back on, see if that just sorts her, so to speak. So follow sorting map, edit mode preview. What's that offset if true spanners? See, I'm not totally sure. I'm worried about this offset. I've got this yellow thing there, which I think. So she's sorting by the sorting map now, but she's obviously in front of Clive, and she shouldn't be. But I'm not totally sure why. Oh, it's probably because I manually set a sort order. Yeah, let's set it back to 0. Yeah, I think I've got some kind of problem with, because it's set to right the way up there and it shouldn't be. So let's pull that to the center of her feet. I don't know if I did that, but to me that isn't, the sorting map's not working there, because if her feet, like her anchor point, is below this cabinet, then she should sort in front of it, but that isn't happening. And I'm not sure why. Look. Yeah, so she's not sorting correctly. And same with Clive. Now Clive's in front of her because she's using the sorting map. But yeah, you can see there's all kinds of problems. He's like walking over the front of her now. I mean, it's no biggie at the moment. The main thing is I want to get the talking working, but she's not talking, so let's get that sorted out and worry about the other stuff later on. What I try and avoid, yeah, you're right, it's a pivot point. It should be set to the bottom. So on the sprite, yeah, so these were all imported. Just to answer your question there, Bandbites Games. Yeah, when I import them with the pivots like at the bottom of the feet to solve that problem. So when the sorting map gets used, they should sort correctly. But something weird has happened when I use the NPC creator. Yeah, I'm not totally sure what's happened there. What I'll do for now, just because it's up to me really where she ends up going, because she's just going to be talking to Tyler. But if I put her outside the walkable area, just there at about the right scale, let's move her walkable thing to back there. If Clive's just going to be in front of her all the time, that's not too much of an issue, so long as when Tyler's stood here as well. Yeah, so that looks all right. She's kind of out the way. So we'll just leave her there for now. I'll work out what's going wrong. What I try and do on the stream is if I come across a problem that I just can't sort out, I'll go and have a look on the forums afterwards, and then in the next live stream I will have hopefully fixed it, and I'll go into it if people remind me. So we need to make sure when she speaks, her mouth moves. That is not happening. So let's just double check we've got the correct Wendy controller there. Yeah, NPC Wendy. The idle is Wendy idle. Talk down is Wendy talk down. Check talk down has actually got frames in it. It has there. Let's just slow them down a bit. We set the sprite sort point to pivot as well. I'll double check. Sprite sort point. Pivot. Good shout. Could well be that. Could well be that. Let's just test the theory. Well done. 5 points to Bandbites Games. That was indeed the problem. Because normally that gets set, but I think because I pulled her in and created an NPC. Oh. Yeah, but now you can see her when you drag, she is sorting correctly. Yeah, good shout. Thanks for that. I'll leave her at the back because she looked quite good there actually, and it means that Tyler can stand there and talk, and Clive can still walk past. So, but yeah, she's going to be talking to Tyler. She's going to be talking about how expensive laminate flooring is. Doesn't sound particularly exciting, but there's a good reason why. So she might end up over here. She might end up like talking to Tyler there, so we can still walk past her. So let's leave it there. I've done it again. I've moved her off her parent. I need to move the parent. So let's put her there. I have to make her a little bit bigger. That's the sound of the dogs coming back from their walk. My wife got the short straw. It's cold and dark out there as well. So let's work out why she's not talking, because everything's set up correctly. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. Or I've got a good guess. So talk_D is the thing that it's trying to trigger. The dogs' names are Bonnie and Buster. On my channel, the welcome video on my channel, there is a picture of them on there. They're both idiots, and they normally get locked out of this room when I'm working on stuff. So they'll, now and again, you'll see the door open and they'll come wandering in. I think that it's not playing because Wendy, in the NPC settings, you set the talk name, so it's talk, and in the action, so the Wendy talk to action there, the dialogue play speech is looking for talk, and it's not appending the underscore D, I think. And because she's not going to have loads of other ones, let's just rename that to talk and check my thinking, so that here, the talk name talk, I think it's not appending the underscore D because it doesn't know which direction she is, but that's my thought. Let's find out. It's not working, and I forgot to move the walkable area, but at least we can see her face a bit better from there. Let's move this over here. So we need to work out why it's not triggering her talking thing. So that's all correct. I wonder how there's any settings on here. It's just nope, don't think there's anything on the hotspot. So in the action, if you go character, yeah, you shouldn't need to animate them because Wendy's a character. Let me just see if that actually is picking her up. So if I put talk as the animation clip to play, it should play that talk clip. But it should play anyway, I would have thought. It's actually the first time. Yeah, so that's triggering the animation. But it should do that when she talks. So I'm not quite sure why it isn't. I'm going to throw it out to the chat again, see if somebody else knows. When I've used Adventure Creator, I've used it twice before for 2 other games. Polycity Stories, which is on Steam, but it was all 3D using a lot of the Cinti asset packs. So a lot of the animation done exactly the same way. You end up in animator controllers, but the directional talking isn't necessary because I have a 3D sprite. Not sprite. So I'm not using sprites at all. I'm using a 3D character, and I'm just triggering a bit of animation, which is it was like a mouth I'd drawn onto the Cinti like face as a texture. Whereas here, it's slightly different. The talk, because it's an NPC, I would expect that automatically it should just talk because it uses talk, and maybe it is expecting the underscore D, but there wasn't an option in the action to do that. So dialogue, play speech, the speaker is Wendy, but I'm after a carpet. I'll do a little search on the adventure creator forum here. Creator NPC not triggering talk animation. Right, so that could be it, but so character Wendy reset to idle and then have her talk. And that might be because it's stuck in. I mean, that is the idle one, so. Yeah. So her idle's not playing either now. Very strange indeed. Yeah. I don't remember ever having this problem before. Let's just try and step through what's actually happening. So when she starts, this is Wendy's controller, she goes into that idle thing and it loops. But she's not even doing that at the moment, which is a bit weird. And the idle animation is this one. It's a shame when you drag that there isn't like a preview. I'm sure there used to be a preview. Yeah, used to be able to, I think that's maybe only with 3D I'm thinking of. So you can see there's definitely the sprites there, so that's the idle. Yeah, I'm kind of lost as to why even the idle's not playing now. So when you start the scene, you would expect the idle to be playing because of the entry point of her. So she's not blinking anymore. Why not blinking, Wendy? That is strange. Swap that to the talk one just for a second. Yeah, the entry point, it automatically goes to idle. This is definitely her controller. She's got the animator controller set up somewhere, hasn't she? Controller NPC Wendy. Yeah, that's that one. That is the correct one. I'm trying to think what I might have changed other than setting the pivot point and having a scaled slightly from the sorting map. I haven't done anything different to her. It's kind of annoying because let's just turn off the sorting map follow. Just check whether that's causing a problem. Nope, she got big, but she's still not idling. The joys of game development. I don't believe I've done anything to mess that up. I don't think I've changed anything that was different to how it was set up before. It's got a speed of 1, so it should be playing. I don't really know what to do. Can you show the inspector for Wendy? Yeah, so that's the inspector. I think all I might have changed is I put idle in there. If I go back, yeah, so now her idle is playing. So it's using the idle _D. If I just, I'm confused because she's not like a walking character. So I guess I don't need the different directions. It doesn't know she's facing down. Yeah, so it's picking that up if it's named exactly that. I mean, she isn't going to move, so I don't like need any of these. She's not going to walk. She's just got an idle and a talk. So going from the same logic. Thanks, by the way, Bandbites Games. Just by looking at the inspector, I've kind of realised that. Like talk _D, if that is the talk name, because that's what we've got it called there. So we're using the actual names that we've got them. So let's go back to this bit. We shouldn't need that reset to idle because it's idling anyway. We're playing a speech. It's of Wendy, so it should trigger the talk bit because she's talking. Let's have a look. Fingers crossed. Everyone cross their fingers. So she's idling. We click. Yeah, it definitely didn't play the talk. Right, to the internet. So, NPC not talking. Let's have a look at a couple of the forums. Tells the animator component. Which animator to play at all times based on the state. The first, if your character doesn't change directions, you can disable multiple directions. In this case, the prefixes will not be added, so animation names just need to be idle. Right. Okay, so it maybe thinks she's in a different direction, so we need to turn off multiple directions for Wendy. Yeah, loop time is selected. If I put none and just click play, I've just got a sneaking suspicion. There we go. She spoke. So, yeah, as always, if in doubt, Chris from Icebox Games has the answer because he made Adventure Creator. So what he was saying, if your character doesn't change directions, then you can just disable multiple directions. So what was happening in the background is Adventure Creator thought she was facing a different direction because she's never walked. So I don't know, maybe it starts thinking she's facing up. So it was triggering an animation like _U that didn't have a thing related to it. So just by changing facing directions from 4 to none, it now isn't doing any appending of names. So we can clear these up if we want, just so that I remember this next time we come in. And it is literally just looking for that name that you've specified. So it doesn't care which direction she's facing because she's not got any direction. So that's her idle And there's a talk. Should that have shown an error? You would have liked to have thought so, wouldn't you? But it didn't. It's a good point there, Kyle, but it didn't show an error. No. Action toggle cursor. That was something. Input action jump not found. Must have pressed a key on the keyboard. Yeah, so no. Something. The sprite of Child Wendy is not positioned at 0 Is this correct? Yeah, I think so. Don't think we need to worry about any of them. But yeah, it didn't throw an error as such. I assume an NPC is maybe facing up when it arrives, and because she hasn't walked, we haven't changed her direction. I mean, we could have done that right at the very start of this. We could have done a is it character face direction. We could have made Wendy face down, and then we knew she was facing down, and then it would have used the _D thing. But yeah, for this, we can just do as we've done. That's working fine. And the reset to idle thing. Also, she didn't talk very long, and this is potentially that tutorial I was talking about the other day. The sentence like, I'm after a carpet. So, hi, can I help you? I'm after a carpet. It's like, bop. She's like, her mouth barely goes. But that's because I've set the talk speed to quite quick. Like the minimum display time is like half a second, I think. And I think this is time by number of characters. So yeah, this you can change. If I double that to 0.1 from 0.5, sorry, then it multiplies the number of characters in the line that they've just said by a time factor. So now she should talk for longer. There you go. So it's like double the amount. So that looks a little bit better, and that's throughout the whole game. What I'm going to do, strangely, looking up the doc, it says you're the first down by the... Yeah, I mean, that makes sense to me, because most characters are facing the camera, but yeah, you all saw it. Something was going wrong. It wasn't just me, because my comments are all over the Adventure Creator forums for the last 6 years or something. And more often than not, I ask a question, which I think is a really good question. And then Chris tells me straight away, like, how to fix it. Or I ask the question, I go to bed, I wake up in the morning and I'm eating my breakfast. And then I think, oh, I know what I've done wrong. And then before I get a chance to go and remove the question, he's answered it. And I'm like, yeah, I've worked it out now. So it's littered with things like that. Right. So let's get the driver in. You're right, he is an absolute machine answering complex questions. I've got loads on there, and some of them have been like really difficult, like 35 different things that, like different posts and things that I've done. And yeah, some of them are really complicated. Some of them he's been absolutely fantastic. He added some things that I asked for years ago, which were really, really helpful with pop-up variables. I think it was being able to use pop-up variables in action list assets, so you can use parameters and tie them at pop-up variables, which saved me loads of time. So yeah, always forever grateful. And he usually answers within a day. So, and I think he's got a full-time job as well. I don't think Adventure Creator is his full-time job. Right, so she's in, that's great. What we're also going to add to Wendy, she's not going to be visible at the start of the game. So what we want to do is just add a remember visibility. She's going to be off at the start, going to affect all the children. So we've got 2 Wendy's there. I'm not actually sure why. So that's the NPC Wendy, and that's the actual sprite. So let me just call that NPC Wendy. I'm gonna create a prefab of her actually. So I got here my prefabs. Just gonna drop that in there. Now we've got her kind of set up correctly. So we're going to remember the visibility of her. So at the start, she's going to be off, and we're only going to turn her on, so to speak, when we need. Look, so we've got the hotspot visibility as well. We've got an invisible Wendy. No one wants an invisible Wendy, so we need to remember hotspot. And it's Wendy's own hotspot. Is it? No, it's not. It's that one. No, I was correct. It is that one. And don't forget to apply all overrides to the prefab. She's not going to be in another scene, not as far as I know, unless I change my mind. But yeah, now she's the hotspot visibility is gone. We can't see Wendy, and then at some point we can make her visible. It's later on in the game. We'll end up making a variable for it. So let's just do that now. Global variable. Wendy. Oops. NPC. Wendy. Visible. Boolean. It's going to start as false. Is Wendy in the scene? And then actually on the scene start while we're thinking about it. So this is the intro. So if it's not done the intro, we'll just do a check for Wendy. So variable check global Wendy visible. If condition is true, then object visibility NPC Wendy, it's visible, and we want a hotspot as well. So hotspot, enable or disable, hotspot to effect, enable, and any children. So, because this is the scene she's going to be in, this all down the left here. Oh, sorry, some of this is off the screen there. All down the left, this is the intro to the game. It's just blocked in for now, but that's where the intro happens. So once the intro is played, intro played gets toggled off, so it then never goes down this left track again. So this is like the entry point after the intro. It's sometimes handy actually if you toggle the comment on, and then you can put a comment in here. This is the scene entry point after the intro has played. So for all other points, we go down this way. Oh, my little mouse isn't working. So that should sort out Wendy. We can test that out. Come into the scene. So let's just leave the scene. come back into the scene. Wendy's not there. Leave the scene. Oh God, I put it in full screen, didn't I? It's the only way I know of doing that. I normally use two monitors. I've got a monitor up there, but it's got my OBS and the stream and everything on it. When I'm working on it, normally I have my ultra wide and a regular 16:9 up there. So I have the ultra wide down here with all the Unity editor on, and then I have the player window up there maximized so I can see it on a 16:9 monitor. But the problem when I'm doing a stream is I've got that monitor used for something else, and everyone wants to see what's going on here. So I've got both crammed into one screen at the moment. Right, so let's try that again when it's not maximized. So we're just testing the Wendy thing. Let's get out the scene. Let's come back into the scene. She's not there. Let's get out the scene. Go to variables. Wendy. Let's set it to true. Come back into the scene. And there she is. Lovely. Set it to false. Leave. Come back. Oh, and she's still there. Wonder why that was. Wendy, you liar. Wait. What have I done there? So look again at the scene action. So if Wendy visible is true. Alright, I haven't turned it back off. That's why, because I'm an idiot. So both of these, I'm going to duplicate them. Copy, paste. So if it's false, then we want to make it invisible and disable that. Yep. Wonder if one of you was just typing that ready to tell me what I'd done wrong. But yeah, that's why we did our if true, but we didn't do our if false. So that now will work. Guarantee it. Not paying any bets out if it doesn't work then. So she's not there. Variable is false. Set her to true. Let's leave. Let's come back. There she is. Let's leave. Set her to false. Come back. And she's gone. Bravo, Wendy. Oh, my double click is working. Double click to sprint. Oh, cool. Yeah, I was trying to set that up the other day. There's another really complicated scene I was doing the other day. I mentioned this briefly on the live stream. But this monitor has caused me all kinds of problems. There's a puzzle that involves turning it on. And that post-it note, you can't pick it up until you're in the scene. There's a close-up scene. So I've done a little close-up. You can grab hold of the post-it note. Leaves a little sticky mark on the monitor as well. Attention to detail there. There's a puzzle to do with Tyler's date of birth. You got to go and find his date of birth out. And then there's this power button that you can turn the PC on with. And then you kind of click that in. There's no power. Go and check the cables. But when you finally get past this bit and plug it in, so I will plug for it, the monitor's got two different states, like on needing the password, on after the password, and the post-it note's now missing. So I've had to set up like 3 or 4 different versions of this like sprite with the screen on the login screen, the post-it note, separate from the other things in case somebody... I mean, you've just got to think of everything in these games, because if the person comes and looks at this and doesn't pick up the post-it note and turns it on before, like, they do one puzzle before another, then everything needs to be separate just in case. So yeah, there's always things like that that take far more time than they should do to set up. I've got some stuff to do in the storeroom next time as well. I've got the light switch working, and I've got some other bits and pieces I need to add to this now as well, because we've just got boxes and box of bulbs, but there's loads of things to add to there next time. we of course need to get this sponge sandwich in there. But before I finish for the night, what I'd like to do is get this driver in. So let's get him in now. It should be much quicker than it was to do bloody Wendy. So let's set the driver up. He's going to end up coming to this door, and I've got to do some animation on this door as well. There's a puzzle to do with this door's basically gets stuck and it screeches and squeals every time you walk near it. It's like an automatic door. And there's a puzzle to sort that out. So I'm going to have to animate this and have it moving. And then I'm probably going to have a little truck outside when the truck driver's arrived. I'm going to try and avoid animating these things. I was saying to Kyle the other day, cheers, Band Bites Games, thanks for joining us. And hopefully join us on another one. Take care too. WD-40. It's a bit more bizarre than that. But yeah, you ultimately put some lubricant of some sort on there. That is the puzzle. But I'm going to have to like animate it, like screeching and crossing over with this one. So I need to do that at some point because it's one of the early puzzles. Let's get the driver in because I will lose track of what I'm doing. So let's try and quickly, everything we've learnt from doing Wendy, let's do it better this time. So my sprites, the driver, there's his sprite. We need to set up import settings for a sliced bit of art, apply that, go to the sprite editor and check these are all in the right place, and they look to be. So come out of there, drag him into the scene, call him driver for now. So I haven't decided on a name. Let me scroll up in the chat. What else was... So we've got Truck Norris, I like. Carrie Poppins, it's too bad that. You apologised at least for that. Wendell, Justin, I do like Justin. Just in time. Mishandling, delivery, yeah, good. Package handling, frisky freight, Post Malone. Let's have a look. I'll tell you what. We'll leave him as driver for now. I like just in time, but Kyle's managed to, in that case, name 2 people in one stream. We'll have him Justin for now. You've successfully named 2 people, Kyle. You deserve it. You were the first live stream viewer the other week, so let's have it as Justin for now. Let's set the sprite point to pivot because we've learnt that from last time. Use that. You can die happy now. The editor, character wizard, NPC, flying now. Actually, before I do that, reset this transform. All that should be correct, I think. Is that white? Looks off white, that. He's actually going to be over by that sunlit door, so yeah, we can sort this out. I'm fiddling with it. Let's so editor, character wizard, NPC, drag Justin in. Going to be called Justin. We'll add all the states. We don't want a collision mesh. It's done that massive thing again. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Let's fix him anyway. Justin. Let's rename him. Same naming convention as Wendy. NPC underscore Justin. He's not going to have any footsteps. Let's fix his massive box collider. No idea why it's doing that. Now this is someone that Clive will speak to. We're going to follow the sorting map. Put the preview in so we can see his size and his scale. Bring him to the door. His NPC settings. Did it create a animate controller for him? Did it automatically last time, I thought? Yeah, NPC Justin. Let's put it in the root, but let's drag it into the driver folder. Let's rename that folder as well, because NPC Justin. Just double click that to make sure we're editing the right one. Again, I'm probably not gonna have him walk at all. Certainly not for now. I'll leave his other states there, but let's just see actually, because you checked that down is the default thing. Let's just leave all of these as they are. See what happens. So let's grab his sprites. So the first two I always do as the idle, so it's just a blink. So create animation clip. I'm going to call that Justin idle. Grab all the others. Create animation clip. Justin talk. So make sure we drop them into the right things. So there's the idle. There's the talk. Loop it. Loop it. And then just edit these quickly. So 6. Just put a couple more of those frames in. A couple of them. All I'm trying to do is just make it a little bit more random. I used to use something called Visionaire Studio. I don't know if you've heard of that. Anyone on the chat? It was like a game engine made entirely for doing point and click stuff. I think the Deponia games are made in it. I made the demo game that won the Visionaire like mini game competition years ago. So you can download that game. It's called Fantasy Quest, which I basically made as a way to show people how to use that engine. And that had a really cool thing where any one of the, like an animation clip like this, it just had a little box that said random, and what it would do is it just jump randomly between the frames, and it was really handy. So like what I'm doing here basically is grabbing a couple of the frames and just mixing them up to give like a more random thing, whereas that little random button was really, really handy. It meant that you could just put like your 5 talk frames down, click the random box, and it would just randomly move between the frames. So it was, yeah, a good little feature that. There's probably a way of doing it in Unity. You could obviously script something to move the playhead about here, but it's just a shame there isn't a button that just says play random. It will randomly pick a thing. Does ripple do? This is where I find out that it does. I have no idea. No, it can't be. Set sample rate. No. Yeah, it'd be cool if it had that. Just a little checkbox that played a random frame. Anyway, I digress. So the torque frames, definitely want to mix these up a bit. So let's grab them, copy, paste, copy one from in there, paste it twice, just to make the torques less loopy, if that's a word. So you don't see the same frames flipping through all the time for the torque. And the great thing is as well, go back to Aseprite and alter some of them, because I haven't finished those torque animations really. I need to put a bit more body movement in there. And these, so it's those last 5 frames that are being used for the torque. In fact, we can tag them now, can't we? So torque. Idle. Yeah, we can just redraw them, and because I've jumbled them up in Unity, that's great. They'll just, they're all in slightly different orders there. You could even grab some of them as well, I think. And, oh, I'm sure you used to be able to go reverse. I'm sure there was an option to reverse. I might be thinking of Visionaire again. Yeah, I used to be able to reverse some of them, I think. Anyway, they're in. NPCs in. That should be connected, that and that. Let's see if the idle plays automatically. It should, because it did before. That's annoying, I'm right the way over there. Nope, he's not blinking. So, Justin. So I just set it to none. Actually, before I do that, how can you set him to facing down to begin with? Because even if it says that it does that in the manual, it's obviously not happening. Well, let's set his colour to his top. He's got kind of a blue kind of top on like that. Let's do that for now. Sod it. Let's not worry about it for now. I'll go and look it up. So if we do that and we set it to none, we want to add remember hotspot. We want to add remember visibility. Okay, they're both done. Let's just check that out. Just so I don't have to keep walking over there, let me just move the start point. Scene, 2D player start. I'll put him back there. I've got to do an animation of him hoovering, which is in the intro. He's hoovering up the remains of a dead pigeon from the laminate flooring display. Some deer. That's weird. I get just zoomed out. So by default he's off, that's why he's not appearing. So I just need to add all of that to intro cutscene. So we've got the Wendy check there. Check Wendy visible. And we're going to do exactly the same. I'm going to grab all of that, copy, paste. Check just invisible. And of course, go and change everything. So variables, I'm going to duplicate that. Oh, can't duplicate. Well. So, copy the name of it. NPC just invisible. Just invisible. That's tickled me, that. A good name for a delivery driver, actually. Just invisible. Never turns up. Or leaves you one of them cards saying he's been when he's lied. Is the way these days. So what we want to do is we want to do I mean, we could run these both through together, but I'm going to run multiple. So, oh, actually, I forgot how you do that. Is it running parallel? Yeah, 2. So we can run both of these in parallel. Check that one, and check that one. So that does all the Wendy's stuff. Put that out the way. This is going to do all Justin's stuff. Let's just unfold these. So NPC Justin. Let's just make him into a prefab first. A prefab. So Justin. Oh, Justin. Close them up. Justin. And Justin. Close them up. So that should be that sorted. Oh. Check. Just invisible. Just invisible. Alright, give that a save. Okay. Actually, just set it to true so I can just test this out. So, true. Yep, so this area's working and everything. Let's get so on the hotspot. Let's fold some of these up. End up with massive inspectors. So we're going to talk to him, we're going to walk to the marker face, create a marker for him, just offset it slightly so I can see his face when we're talking to him. And create that. Hi Justin, how is it going today? So, Justin, yeah, what's kind of handy with these as well, you can colour some of these. So as these start to become like big bits of dialogue, you can give them a colour so that you can remember who's who. So Justin's wearing like a cyan kind of shirt, so you've got all of Justin's ones in that. It's visually a bit quicker to see them. Right, thanks Clive. How's business? And then actually what we'll do there, and we'll do this on the next live stream, I'll set up a conversation so where you get to choose some options of what you say. I've completely forgotten what they're called. They're called, yes, a conversation, funnily enough. So yeah, there'll end up being quite a few conversations in this particular room, but I just don't think they're called conversations in here. Anyway, yeah, we'll do that next time. So that some options appear on screen and you can choose what to say to him. So I think that's everything set up, isn't it? We've got idle, we've got talk, we got rid of his directions, no facing directions, talk, idle, lovely. Click play, let's see if it's going to work. We're on about 10:30, I have to stop shortly. Hi Justin, how's it going? Yep. Too fast, I forgot to change his speed. You can see here as well the idle is playing. And then it should jump over here to the talk. But yeah, I forgot to change the speed of the talk animation. So let's find him. Justin talk. Half the speed of that, I think. I think I'm doing most of them 6, aren't I? Yeah. Idle 6. Talk 6. Yeah, I still haven't, just because I forgot, but the text being pushed off the side of the screen should shovel it along, but it's not for some reason. Looks like a child now because he's getting scaled by the sorting map. Can you add like a default? I'm sure you can. Just if I scale his base size, just stop that. So if you make his base size a little bit bigger, like 3.6 by 3.6, and the sorting map will then scale that down, I assume, so it'll feel a little bit bigger. I made it too small. Let's see if he's really big. Shouldn't be having to fudge stuff like that, really, but yeah, so there's kind of door sized. Yeah, so like that blink there where it's just continuous. That's where that random thing would be really, really handy, but I'll just block out more of them. And I'll probably maybe do some animations where he puts his arms by his sides and holds his little clipboard and then moves his arm back up and things while he's waiting for you to come over. Okay. Right. Well, I've managed to get 2 NPCs in. Got them both working, got them both hiding. I think that certainly covers what I hoped to get sorted tonight. I don't think there's anything else I can do this evening in that period of time. I did do, I think the last live stream was the Funky Monkeys one. I think I just set up, so at the end of that, I think I set up some more hotspots and markers. I'm not sure if I did that in the live stream or not. And this is like the outdoor, like nighttime bit of Funky Monkeys. So yeah, I was just setting up loads of things that you can look at. I'm just getting all the walkable areas sorted and things. That was all done last time. So I'll be doing some more on that. That's out of Act 3. So I've been doing some writing today as well this afternoon. I got some of the other bits of Act 2 sorted. So you can see all of these new bits of the chain along here are all things that I was filling in that I hadn't completed last time. I'd just left this one box saying what you were going to do without actually going through the steps. So that all needs done. There's some bits of the script. I've done a little bit of voiceover for this with a voice changer as well. But yeah, that's all like started as well for like narration. That is, so the only bit that'll be narrated. I'm not gonna do character voices for everything, but there'll be narration about the story, about Clive and things as we go through. So I think that's probably about it for this evening. It's been really great having a few people on the chat, so I really do appreciate that. And those who've been following afterwards in the past, please do stick some comments on some of those old ones. It still really helps the channel, and it still really helps other people to see that there's people engaging with this stuff. It's obviously really great if you can make it on a Sunday. It's usually going to be a Sunday, although next week is my birthday, so next Sunday I will be waking up in a different city with a hangover. So next Sunday there won't be a live stream. I will try and squeeze something in at some other point. But yeah, thanks very much for the support. Really enjoyed all the input and things and the ideas, so really appreciate that. If you've got other questions and things, thank you very much for the early happy birthday. If you've got any other questions, stick them as comments on any of those tutorials. I'm always trying to think of other tutorials to do, because when I'm in the middle of a live stream I sometimes think, oh, that's a good idea, and I write it down and then it gets lost in amongst lots of other things. So yeah, it's helpful for me if people have got suggestions of things they want to see. So brilliant, great to speak to you all, and hopefully see you again on another live stream not too long from now. So good evening, see you later.